up guys, it's PatriotsMan here and I am back with another video. Today guys, we have part 2 of the Madden Mobile 23 overall and progression sneak peeks. We're going to talk about the Madden Mobile 23 conversions and trading in terms of how your Madden Mobile 22 players are going to carry over, and also some general trading within the game that's going to help you get better players in Madden Mobile 23. So, according to the blog post here, which again is going to be linked in the comment section, now that the most basic concepts are outlined, we can dive into some more nuanced ways to find better players. One of the best ways to continue upgrading your ultimate team is to use player trades. So the most frequent example of this is how users will be able to trade in players of a lower rarity for a player of a higher rarity. For example, a user can now trade in 7 rare players and get an epic player, which will have a higher overall than any of the rare players that were traded in. So since ranking, as you guys know, is now gone, say I get 2 of the same uncommon player, now I'm not going to get an extra rank of that player or extra shards of the player. Now I'm going to have 2 separate players on my bench, which I can use inside trades to actually build players. So essentially these are not really as much as trades, but very, very close to sets. If you remember basically back to every other Madden Mobile before Madden Mobile 22, you could trade in different players to actually trade up for players. It was very, very similar to the way that Madden console worked, but in Madden Mobile 22, of course, they had the ranking system, and that messed up the whole entire way they did things. It looks like in Madden Mobile 23 they are going to return to the original way they did player sets, which they still call player trades, but it basically functions like sets where you're going to trade in players for higher overall players. Not like in Madden Mobile 22, because in Madden Mobile 22, once you had an uncommon player or a rare player, those could not be traded in for anything really at all. All you could really put them in for was boosts on your team. And then again, you weren't trading them in to get rewards, they were just for boosts. So in the end here, you are going to get something useful for your players. Users will also be able to select these trade-ups based on positional groups for a more focused way to chase players needed to fill out their roster. So when you go ahead and put these players in these sets to go ahead and trade up to these epic players, trade up to these rare players, you are going to be able to fill out your team a lot easier because they are going to break it up into positions. And that means maybe like wide receivers, tight ends, like maybe a receiver type thing. Maybe they're going to have like offensive line, a defensive line one, breaking it up into all sorts of those positional groups so that you guys can fill out your team a lot easier. This is a returning feature to Madden Mobile 23, as community feedback around providing an avenue to trade old players in for better ones was heard loud and clear. Number 2. Madden NFL 22 mobile player items coming into 23 are also able to be traded in. Once users no longer want them on their roster, they can be converted into Madden NFL 23 mobile resources and players via especially designed trades for carryover content. This means that all the player acquisition efforts of Madden NFL 22 mobile will lead to head start progress in Madden NFL 23 mobile, like we know already. Iconic marvels from Madden NFL 22 mobile will have a special trade option in 23 for when users no longer need or want to use them in their lineup, which means the marvels are going to have a very, very special value. You can use them on your team. They're going to be kind of on level with the newest players in Madden Mobile 23. You can use them in special trades to trade in for 23 players, it seems. So the marvels are going to have a very, very distinct value, and I believe that value is going to be pretty good. All we can say for now is the iconic marvel trades will specifically help users chase Madden NFL 23 mobile's newest players. Now, speaking of Madden NFL 22 mobile players, you may be asking how they immediately translate into Madden NFL 23 mobile. While we can't give you specific overall numbers at the time, we can give you a few details to help you get ready for August 18th, 2022. Madden NFL 22 mobile players of the same rarity will be slightly lower in overall than their Madden NFL 23 mobile counterparts. This means having a litany of high rarity Madden NFL 22 mobile players to put in a lineup at launch will allow users to progress further and faster at the start of the Madden NFL 23 mobile season. As mentioned previously, any Madden Mobile 22 iconics, iconic elites, and iconic marvels will all fall under the iconic rarity in Madden 23 mobile. However, iconic elites will have a higher starting overall than iconics, and iconic marvels will have a higher starting overall than iconic elites, as you guys probably would expect. Now, number 2, Madden Mobile 23 promo and field pass players will launch as and remain the highest overall players available at the time of release for their respective rarities. So as you guys would expect, having promo players and field pass players, they are going to be updated throughout the season, so they are not going to stay on that level of Madden Mobile 22 players. Eventually your players from this current season are going to get outdated, and you will just trade them in for Madden Mobile 23 players and resources. And at the start of this season, number 3, converted iconic marvels from Madden NFL 22 Mobile will be on par with Madden Mobile 23 players at launch. So that's going to do it for part 2 of the Madden Mobile 23 overall and progression sneak peeks. So basically the main points of today were that you're going to be able to trade in players in these trades, which are basically going to function as sets, they almost seem, where if you get a duplicate player now, those duplicate players are now going to be actual duplicate players. You're not going to be ranking up guys, ranks are gone, it's all leveling. So basically if you get an extra player, you can use them inside trades or sets to help you trade up to higher rarity players. Your players are going to carry over to Madden Mobile 23, and the iconic marvels are going to have a very, very distinct value, a good value at that, and they're going to have their own special trade. We're also being told that obviously the iconic elites are going to be a higher overall than the iconics. The iconic marvels are going to be a higher overall than the iconic elites, but they're all still going to be in that iconic tier in Madden Mobile 23. And of course, the Madden Mobile 23 promo and Field Pass players are going to be the highest overall players available at the time. So they are eventually going to outdate the Madden Mobile 22 players. And at the start of the season, of course, the marvels are going to be on par, and they will eventually fizzle out as a month or so goes on. So that's going to be it for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.